Golden Tower. 20 countenance was finally represents the identity, and, openly from now on, as Kato 20 countenance, aiming the only example of jewelry and art. It means that the first to start a mysterious magic of the thief. By newspaper. Tokyo residents who knew this, let alone even when I heard rumors of Black Demon. It has scared. In particular, it is such as millionaire that keep a lot of works of art. For worry is the plight of Ashochi. Sleep is not at night. After all, to attack until the museum of the government of the Moor tried to steal quite a work of art. It because it is horrible large bandit. Well, since there is a dirigible balloon fuss, is that of the later about 10 days. Some evening newspaper in Tokyo. Suddenly, that causes said to up the citizens. Posted a truly terrible article. Because the article, our editing station, this morning, received a letter of one mail from Kato 20 countenance. Kato is filled with a predetermined advertisement fee. Has been crowded. My name is Mimi for a full text of the letter to the advertisement surface. It is not possible to put the bandits of the advertisement in this newspaper. Of course our company was refusal of the crowded. I say this bizarre. The right letter. 20 countenances. Late at night this month 25th, was the determination to steal the famous Golden Tower of the Atori Clock Shop Holdings. As is clear also by a conventional example. 20 countenances. Never Tagai the promise, including Kogoro Akechi, in the muscle. It intends Yoro Shikaro but is enough warning. Notice of fearless that had been written. This might be someone of mischief. However, given the vending flaps of conventional 20 countenance, because there's a fushi, which cannot be said necessarily mischief and only our company. This letter immediately submitted to the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department authorities. On the other hand, a Tori also watched store reported this flavor did a sign, followed by the origin of the Golden Tower. Traditional modus operandi 20 countenance, and visit articles of Akechi named Detective, was published at length, in large heading of Social 6th Dan without. We have put up the large photo of Akechi Detective. The newspaper article. There the famous Golden Tower. Exactly. What way the famous will do? About it? You must have a little explanation. Atori because watch store, with high clock tower in the corner of Chuo-oku. One in Tokyo, is a long established a fight. Bottom of the master of Kyozo Atori old man. Hijoni and Dasuki a place person. Things a believer of large Asakusa cannon. A certain time. The model of the 5-storied pagoda of Asakusa cannon was made of pure gold, a business stuff. To heirloom the was Omo-itachi. Then, resulting is given. The breadth about 12 centimeters square of the roof. That height 75 centimeters. With fine golden tower. Fine, far, look alike in Asakusa the tower. Was crafted. Moreover, instead of the empty as in the tower. Because we are completely Uzuma, with pure gold. The whole of Makata is beyond the 80 kilometers. It was expensive ones as gold alone market value 5 million yen of the material. Just time that this golden tower was finished. The ginza of a certain clock shop of those skilled in the art. There is a burglar of the show window breaking. Angry commotion that their 2 million yen of gold bullion, which had been on display to have been stolen because the thing. Mr. Atori, the Golden Tower great pains not made painstakingly. That's very has been stolen in the same way that the had been decorated during the shop until now. Transferred to a suddenly secluded room. Various subjected to due defense. It was provided to the theft. The back parlor is a between the Japan of 10 tatami mats. First, all bran and shoji around, instead of the sturdy wooden doors. It, one by one with a lock. The key is only Futari Kadono, old man of the husband and manager is. Haneda only decided to have not made. This is the first of the barrier. If the thief is, even as we were able to open up somehow this wooden doors. In it, there is a further second barrier. It is when there is a bottom to the electrical G over the tatami around the room, as well as a thief has entered from anywhere, as long as Fumi the tatami of the room. Suddenly, in the house bell, equipment that resounds sounds keta tamashiku. However, barrier does not have these two only. The third most horrible customs checkpoints. It has the last refrain. Golden Tower. The breadth 60 centimeters square. The higher the height of 1 meter 30 centimeters. In the shape of a long box, put in a fine wooden frame. It is enshrined in the alcove of the room but frame of this tree as the key yokusha, if the original, but is not spring the glass to the form or in this frame. A Tori says not deliberately affixed to the glass. I've been so hands can touch to anyone freely Golden Tower. Instead, in the shadow of the four corners of the thick pillars of the frame, that the infrared defense equipment, terrible trick had been hidden by 3 kasho on 4 pillars. The convenience 12 kasho, and attached a light beam to fire infrared. Speaking to bite, the upper, lower, left and right of the Golden Tower. I wrapped an infrared light of a string which is not visible to the eye so it is. And if, in an attempt to touch the hand in someone Golden Tower, if you intercept the infrared, in response to electrical G over another, and at the same time quickly resounds bell rings, in the direction of those that blocked, pistol firing it is horrible apparatus that is, in the corner of the upper and lower frame of the tree, so as not to be seen from the outside. A small pistol of Hacho is, with great live ammunition. It is fixtures in like a small fort so, however, if only prevent the theft. I hope once you put a Golden Tower, even into the large safe, Mr. Atori is a treasure of pride and joy which gave much trouble left over. Do not even show it to people. It is locked up. I could not bring myself to place. Therefore, in the congenial customers, so as to be able to show off enough. It is not devised a kind of exaggerated apparatus. Of course, when the Shota customers press the secret button in the shadow of the pillars of the frame, but not keep the infrared radiation tower itself of expensive pure gold as well, but was not surprised of very public rumors of this elaborate defense system is. It increased the more reputation. Of course, a Tory, but in the clock shop I had been to hard secret that of defense equipment. Time and become the rumors multiplied by the wheel to the wheel instead. Spread to the public. Upon entering the room you have had your tower. Feet freezing. Tokahi body resulting in numbness. Android made of steel is not a turn. If suspicious things shinobi ore. Tokahi kills quickly grasp. Standing a variety of strange reputation. It is the glue in the newspaper, and now had become as never even those not know who. 20 countenances I was keeping an eye to it, because it is that 20 countenance sometimes stole the even of art million yen an overnight Golden Tower itself, but would not likely be a much want than that. The high genju of defense equipment rumors it attracted was fear and broke the mechanism of the secret of people. Fairly steal the tower. There is no difference to what to say in up the world. You see, I have a too long ago of the arm. Once, I want my is arrogant, and survived out of the police and a catchy name detective. I wanna laugh and look at Zama. When you become a thief of about 20 countenance, I have a feeling, not losing like this also to thieves. The detective Kogoro Akechi. I read an article of the evening newspaper. The next day, the master of a Torii watch shop been purposely asked the detective of the office. I went back to ask the protection of the Golden Tower. And detective is of course was underwriting the incident. In front of the incident, was suffering from a trick of the dirigible as Nakamura investigation chief of the beginning. But it was the people of the police force. Does not say is that there is no responsibility to Akechi. Resentment ran out in the thief is. Are you feeling people Ichibai? Now what? You must pour shame brilliantly captures the 20 countenance. Had drifts color of deep commitment to the detective of eyebrows. Oh, is not it somehow worry? Thief 20 countenances. By any magic, will that attempts to steal the golden tower? Name detective, or it will be able to really prevent it? Detective and is compared with the wisdom of one sitting of the phantom. Villain is over the name of the villain. In the name detective is the name of the detective. Otagani is hardball, not must not lose what now. Mystery girl, assisting Kobayashi boy who know it? The gas is not in the gas. What if this time? And as you will be caught as 20 countenance in the teacher's hand. Just do pray to God. Teacher, if you have that something can be to me, please let me do it. Now what? I'll do at the risk of their own lives. The next day the Atori Mr. has been asked. Kobayashi-kun when entered into the study of Akechi detective. I asked represents the Nessay to the surface. Thank you. But happy to have an assistant like you. Akechi got up from the chair. Or else, such as those which is not withstand the appreciation. We rely on hand to Kobayashi-kun of the shoulder. Actually, I've got it is that you want to ask one to you. I pretty major role. What work cannot be if it is not you? Yes, please let me do it. If that what your teacher says, I'll do that what, earth, it I know what kind of work. Kobayashi you enjoy it, he replied by blushing cute cheeks. That's. Akechi detective went with the mouth to near the Kobayashi-kun of the ear, whisper anything. What, I think can I do? Such a thing. I can be okay if you. Everything. Prepared guess because should be able to have Aunt. One Pearl River me to do well. Because Aunt is that Akechi of young wife Fumio's a detective. Yeah, I'll try. As surely be praised to the teacher, I'll try. Kobayashi-kun, smiling color of the decision, replied emphatically. Name detective will what was ordered. Kobayashi-kun, or you'll be to me. I said, because I has asked Barbs. There is no difference in the abuse is difficult work. Heck, is it a kind of work? Look at readers gentlemen, one to imagine. That aside, the other hand Kato is a Tory clock shop turmoil that has received the notice is not a walk-through. In 10 people clerk change. You under start the vigil. In blue the protection of the police. I wonder get with a beam saw plainclothes detective on the front and back. Besides ask up to the private sector of Akechi detective. Anymore. Hand it is warning the first time to the extent say that not be exhaustive. Mr. Kyozo Atori husband was thinking. It's the 3 stages of the example there is a previous terrible barrier is to back parlor. Moreover, including the clerk, police and private detective, because of that so much of vigilance. To say how much 20 countenances that it is magician. This time it would also is routinely to have eagle of the store to come out even foot hands. Because mon like, such as the impregnable fort. Quote, Atori said, and think of it, was somewhat good. 20 countenance me. If those yareru, dare, doing, was the momentum of just unexpected I said that. However, as the day goes on, this momentum, when collapse in misery, peace of mind becomes anxiety. Anxiety is the fear. Mr. Atori is, as not also have to stand even here anymore. I began to frustrating, because it is by 20 countenance every day. Mysterious means, the notice of the crime. Because repeated, of the evening newspaper or notice of the article was announced. That of the 16th, but until the 25th of the problem is there was a margin of 9 days. 20 countenances. Only that newspaper article not satisfied. Those that since then, day in and day out. Come on, LL only have another after 8 days. Come on, gonna have only 7 days after. And to Mr. Oshima, I come inform the number of days remaining. At first, a postcard with the word only 8 in big letter has been delivered. It is the next day. An incoming phone call from a public phone. And my husband I get the phone port. And another party is hoarse strange voice. Remains such as Z 7 days after. Will turn off the putsuri to phone directly below. That of the next morning. The clerk who had opened the door of the shop so we do something big fuss. If you try to go, the glass of the front of the show window, in the middle, in chalk, large, 6-character of do not had been kakinagu. Notice of the bandits. The first postcard. Following the telephone. The following is a show window. I have been approached to a Torii clock shop every day. I think an incoming even in the store to the next. And is that of the next morning. Wash your face. The clerk who came out to the store. We have met with surprised. As various sizes of the clock to the store it is. Or subjected to a pillar. Or but we are on display on the shelves. Their watch that worked with the ticking until the last night is. None of this even if I stopped. Was Sano conspiracy ta? Our hand indicates the 5 o'clock. Pocket watch and, although watch is another. Alarm clock as well. Pigeon watch also. Marble table clock music box containing also. On the front. Also large pendulum clock of about 2 meters. Needle of large and small myriad of watches. All at once regular pentagonal flight. Which refers to the time as something as enigmatic ghost. It was the more terrible. Needless to say, that LL only have another after 5 days. It is the subject of 20 countenance. Kato is. I've been finally crept to the store. Even so, after you have is Genju a closed Amari. Plainclothes detective in front and back is. Through the vigil who is Haseen in the store. Bandits would was able to Y enters. Not only entered, the watch that go 10. So as not to be convicted anyone. Would have been able to stop Y. Clerk us. Everyone. But we received a Genju birds examined. There is no apart suspicious person. Then, 20 countenances like a ghost. It came even from a gap of shutters that Shimeki. And, I do not touch anyone's eyes. Become a kind of gas that was fluffy. Did you around and stopped one by one watch. In addition, notice of the Badasuki Mikado does not end with it. In the next, even more deeply, we have extended the hand of the magic of the pirates. That of the next morning. Mr. Atori is, of Kitara under field of puss. I woke to the loud cry. His voice is, from the direction of the room that is enshrined in the golden tower. Because we have heard, Mr. Atori is and jump up to one's feet as Hatcher. Along with the clerk that happened in the around here. Was rushed to Ikasikiki. If you try to go to the front of the 10 tatami mat tatami room of example. There was Yatoi before just about 4 days. 15 pretty maid 6 is. In a state that does not listen even less port of surprise. Wooden doors of the partition in the parlor had been pointing to. On the surface of the wooden doors. Or in the even chalk. 30 more centimeter 4 more. Big 4. Say character is not as written. Oh. 20 countenances. At last. Even up to this secluded room. I've been depressed. When the Atori Mr. look at it. And I was already surprised that it would be by chance Golden Tower was stolen. It is hastily taken out the key. But I saw the alcove open the wooden doors. The Golden Tower different situation rather. It had to brilliantly shining. Also expected of the bandits. You see those 3 stages there was no power to break the front of the defense apparatus. However, to come sneak up here. Not the other more and more off guard is made. Such as Hari look of criminal or clerk. To the Kato such as this monster. Does not it can have any effect. From tonight we are trying to be eagle sleep in this room. Atori said, finally become unbearably. Was such a decision. Then, when will that night? So carry the bedding to the golden tower of the room. Entered from one of the evening on the floor. While smoking a favorite tobacco. It did serve the turn Hari seen treasures to intently. 10 o'clock. 11 o'clock. At 12. If and only tonight. The advance of the watch is ridiculous. I felt so slow. Before long. A temporary. 2 o'clock. Speaking in the language of the old days. Is the time of Yoshimitsu. You do not hear the other train of sound. Earth tremor of the car also became rare. Things that during the day of noisiness is. To cut off completely. shopping street in the center of Tokyo is also a tranquility such as the bottom of the water. Sometimes, out of the corridor of wooden doors, and the footsteps of people, clerk are vigilous, and decided the time. I have visited all over the house. Large watch shop was hit at 3 o'clock. Then, around the time I think only be tens of hours, is barely 4 o'clock. Oh, I've had on 20 countenance me. I tonight did not appear at last. If you think so, Mr. Atori has been suddenly drowsiness is pointing. Then, from the peace of mind that's okay. I got in with doze off asleep. How much sleeping was the one? And suddenly awake? Per had become another bright. If you look at the watch, it is already 6:30. While we watch the alcove to by chance. Okay. Golden Tower it will remain enshrined in there properly. I see. How much in magician until in this room enter through my. Atori said, completely at ease, was one of beauty and, as attempting to return to the basis of the arm. If you look at the palm of Hayoi and left, parent, would be what? It is not the looks black in the palm of your hand. Strange I am, thought that. When you re a good look, Mr. Atori is too much of it, and shouting up, I have jumped up on the floor. Everyone, to the Atori's palm. I think that was what exactly. There are, when did, who or wrote, the ink black people, we shape of a large 3 had appeared. 20 countenance, and the like, even in this room, not considered only with the sneak. Atori said, as was also addressed in the ice mass in the back, could not help not feel the zo and chill. At the same time, in one of the room, I had another, happened to be strange. Wooden doors of more of the corner that does not reach the Atori's eyes are open to the details. From the gap, but someone is except sit in the room. Cheeks of the plump, pretty face. I do not somehow seen a person of a remember. Oh, that's right, it is yesterday morning. Was a fuss to discover the character of wooden doors. A little girl has just been hired a few days ago. 15 U6 made of the girl, the Atori, who were pale to the character of the palm of the hand, but had been staring at the somewhat amused look on her. Eventually, and hide whip face, so as not to the sound of the wooden doors. I have tightened and soon. This girl, the wooden doors that are over the key, Will was able to open up. Why? No, than that, the habit still has just been hired puss. It would be the guy to the dubious behavior of what? Atori Mr. also clerk also. Still, but it does not seem to notice any of this. The behavior of this girl. You must have seen without guard. Strange counsel. After that there is only another 3 days. To the notice of the numbers written on the palm of the hand. Mr. Husband Atori's I have been completely odakasa. Thief is not only went shinobi without further ado to the golden tower of the room. To sleeping with the husband or the palm of the hand. Did you even write a character with a brush? 2 of the barrier of the emergency bell and wooden doors are, we did not have anything of effect. In this sentence, you will not be able to. Third barrier also inadvertently credit, is suffering from a magician. 20 countenance. The power of what science might not represented the effect. 20 countenance was fluffy something like gas. Something like a ghost, because I do not believed only to be transformed. While Atori Mr. Midoi various thought, had continued to sit in front of the golden tower. I do not feel like you release the eye as possible. If speak your eyes, do you feel that would quickly vanished? Now, was that of lunch 2 of the day. Atori Kadono old man of the clock shop manager is suffer from something big furoshiki wrapping. As Shinobu the eye of the clerk who came to the place of the Atori Mr. between the back. Kadono the manager, speaking fu long time ago, in a large head clerk of the shop, that has served as a clerk followed by the second generation from the generation of dad. Because it is a family similar person of the Atori family, and therefore also the credit of the master Hajoni too hot. This person only the entrusts also duplicate key of wooden doors. It is made known also handling the way of the other defense equipment. So, manager, you can enter freely the back parlor at any time. Gimmick of tatami of the emergency bell also. And press a hidden button on the pillar. Once you turn off the current, no matter how walking in the room, do not you also sounds a little. Kidono manager is in and out of wooden doors. Domo continue to do so. While commemorate the public eye. The first best, an elongated wrapping cloth wrapped, which is also 1 meter. Then but the shape is small. A very heavy seams to wrapping cloth wrapped 5, was put to carry one after another into the parlor. Hey, Kidono-kun, you guess I've been brought what exactly? If the business of the story. But I want you in the room for another. Atori's husband, a strange gesture of manager, but had looked taken aback, as Tamarikane was multiplied by this voice. Then, the manager is Shimeki, the wooden doors, to near the master. While Morizari, I whispered a frown a voice. No, not in the negotiations. Sir, did you awajur? You know, that Watakushi is, I said before about 4 days. Dat what? 4 days ago, oh, it was so either. Story of the substitute of the Golden Tower. It's right, husband, has become another way. I do not have a hand in that other. Thief is comfortably into this room, is not there, as was my entered. Also precious defense equipment, does not have anything of efficacy. This after. In addition to running the Watakushi of thinking, there is no date to prevent the theft. If the other party magician, here also you will find up to use the magic. Quote, the manager, known as for a tate the head, you lower the more voice. Once down, try to become now, but I think that I should have according to you of thinking. However, it behind the other hand, Nanny now make a substitute of the Golden Tower. Because it is impossible. No, sir, are you not worry? Watakushi is thought the case of an emergency. That time but I was leave the order immediately to better crafted people. It is. We have completed right now it was. This is you will find its substitute. Quote, the manager, proudly, was mice pointed a wrapping cloth wrapping of heavy, likely 5. Law, if that person hands once was good. But, things like leaking from the crafted people toward the thief is. Okay, there is remind enough, you yes and I will be to enforce a hard secret. It's, or I'll let you show the things that one substitute. Thank Yoroshu. However, if from now on you will find a very weave as Mawashimono of the burglar in the house. And we put just in case to just in case. Well, nice manager. Stand up, open the wooden doors, and make sure that no one on the outside. It did make a key no the inner to Genju. Then, in the husband and Futari Kakari, Toki the Furoshiki of 5, was taken out of the 5-storied pagoda, which is broken down into 1 by 1 floor. You look at it, 5-storied pagoda, which do not differ an inch and that are enshrined in the alcove is divided into 5. Are you to brilliantly shining worm, I think that resembles well. It's but much unexpected indistinguishable even eagle. Let there be. Outside was made of brass plate. It was to the gold-plated contents we decided to lead in order to make the weight. This is referred to as a gloss, called the weight, just things and also the difference is I do not do a little. Quote, the manager my name is a toku. So, buried my reel under the floor. The more of a fake. That you decorate the alcove. It was a counsel. Yes, if measure and in. So very painful. Pirates are stolen without knowing a fake. To say that I am sure chagrin that in there you will. Fake, because this as you will find heavier in. Theory begins to steal. You cannot begin to put in any Kato. By taking advantage of its weakness. Akechi's will, to become towards the police. There mean that you itadako in hitore. Quote, yeah, but something good hopefully so. I wonder what really go well. Atori said, is still a little hesitation gimme. No, it is there any more okay. If I please leave Watakushi. always outwitted 20 countenance, will be applied to your eyes so said to be up. The manager is snort, such as captured the other Kato. All right, if you say so far. Trying to be left at all. Well, 1. The fake. Do not you let us piled into the Anawaku. My husband also finally convinced then in Gakari Futari has been replaced by real and fake. Oh, it is fine. Called the shape a good complexion. Who would think that fake this? Kidono-kun. That's when absorbing well go right. Atori said, piled up in the frame. Looking at the 5-storied pagoda of fake. Murmured as I felt. This is sire replacement. Stop the infrared devices of example. That the pistol had been not have fired is not of Tomosu. It's the more authentic, were to or not you try to be Uzumeru immediately under the floor. Now, Satori's husband is also a large of Riki. The two of being careful not build as much as possible sounds. Turning the tatami in the middle of the room was remove the floorboards beneath it. Kawamo, we have prepared properly. The manager had at first brought in, opened the long furoshiki wrapping, and you taken out the icho of mulberry, and suddenly no hashori, stood down to the ground under the floorboards. Is that time, to like that they came have not noticed any become a fog to work. A piece of wooden doors even if also is sound without any opens to a smooth stop and narrow. The face of remember seeing from there, be as along the indoor the not looked into. That is a lovely maid. It is the puss of a mystery. Chit. After a while watching the state of Futari, also closed the door without a sound. But I have standing sakin. Been standing about 5 minutes. Around the time Kidono, old man of the manager, was finally finished digging the hole. Suddenly, from towards the back of the house, I have heard a terrible cry. Fire daa! Crier come anyone. Fire daa! It is the voice of the clerk. At the time even when, if even another 30 minutes, that could be completely Uzumeru the golden tower of the real thing. Went racy. Is this commotion? Hey, it is very. Somehow hide the towers and mulberry under the floor. Let put the tatami. Fast, fast. The husband and manager threw a 5 part of the tower under the floor together the force and the floor to restore. Led the tatami. The room had been locked from the outside, and a 8-foot of fire I rushed to the site. If you try out to the backyard, from the shed of the corner of the garden, we actively blowing the fire, because it is a small Otago shop away from the fortunately the main house. But not as much as say that the process moves burning in the vicinity of, but not necessarily be a grave to any important keep and hoe. A Tory mister along with the manager, summoned the clerk, and the orders in as far as the voice. I was able to stop off the last fire. It barely lived without seeing the mobilization of the fire truck. The fire commotion is, we continued as much as a little 20 minutes. In the room of the Torre del Oro and between them, had happened to be strange. The beginning of the master clerk Gus. On a plow that is going to better everyone Kajiva. The figure of a small person. Open not cloud the wooden doors took the key. Went into slip as into the room is. Pigtails pretty girl like schoolgirl. Is the maid of newcomers who may an Iwazoo. The mystery is a girl. While the girl went to the golden tower of the room. What you are doing. It did not represent the appearance for a while. Eventually. And also enough too. Wooden doors will open without a sound. Appearance of the girl Subaradashi the room. And occupy the attention deeply units. As it is standing police toward the kitchen I have. Girl of this mystery is. What who on earth, if you look at the place that went out of the room empty-handed. It does not seem even to those entered in to steal the tower. You will what was entered into. Look imagine readers gentlemen, to attempt. Anyway, eventually, if you subside a fire commotion, a Tory and his manager, was turned back to the original of the back parlor on the fly. And Mr. Kodono, taken at one Hatanugi, also raised the tatami, remove the floorboards, was landed under the floor in the hand hose. Atori said, by chance, in between the now of the commotion, someone entered into this room. Weather did not go stealing the golden tower under the tatami. Manager is also to remove the floorboards. Frustrating. Although we Nazuki Komi under the edge to the golden tower. What the different situation without any. On top of the black soil. Saw the glowing shiny. I was finally relieved. Before long Kodono manager is in the golden tower of under the floor of the deep hole. It will incompletely embedded. Then, it floorboards even tatami also as the original. Now is all right now. Only unexpected said to be in, to see the face of my husband, did laugh and grin. In this way, the treasure of the real thing, all to a place which is not stuck in the public eye. It has been hidden well indeed cleanly. Sealing of voice. Another this is safe, even if though 20 countenance came to notice as expected. The golden towers are perfectly safe. Thief will be going to steal a fake good likely. That thief cannot believe they diddle full ways. Or not quite pleasant. Thief is not going to take of care. Such as under the floor. But, never hurts to beware. Atori said from that evening. On the tatami per which are buried my golden tower of the real. I decided to sleep to dear food on. During the day is also a decision to not go outside even one step from the room. Then, characters of 3, oddly enough ever since appeared in the palm of your hand. Notice of the numbers we have cut off the patari. The truth, but it is there was a deep reason is. Atori Mr. does not notice until there. But I just wonder. However, the numbers also does not appear, because theft is what is clearly say past the night of the 25th. You cannot never peace of mind. Atori said the 3 days after that. We continued to work hard in the room that is buried my tower. Then it came the night of finally 25th. From among the other evening, Atori and his Kodono the manager sat down in the parlor decorated with fake golden tower. The wooden doors of the entrance had continued to watch not off guard over the key from the inside. Also towards the shop, any clerk everyone, is what 20 countenance tonight come. Gone tighten the early shop than usual. Completely over the key to the entrance at the entrance. Each decided the post. I wondered to turn Hari scene. I wondered to patrol the house to club one hand. Was a great commotion. Even squid which 20 countenance. Of such double triple, into Genju vigilance. You can come why entered. He must have failed to precisely now. If, sneak into this, not Mayo Wasa also in fake golden tower. If it is possible to steal the treasure of genuine 20 countenance is no longer a witch far from. It is God, is the God of thieves. Among the warning, I went dandruff gradually night. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. 12 o'clock. Also no longer hear the bustle of the main street. It has been quiet with the scene in the house. But, sometimes, footsteps of the clerk to patrol. Just hear the shitoshido in the hallway. In between the back, Otori Mr. Kodono manager is sitting face to face. It was a table clock and a staring game. Kodono-kun, I'm just 12 o'clock. Ha ha ha. Finally I did not yet go Yatsuzan. 10 if 2 o'clock is Sugir. I because 2 other 10 6 days. Or promise of a deadline is not a cut. Ha ha ha. Quote. Atori Mr. Barely Nadia Roshi the chest, it did make a laughter. Oh there is a Hidara-sama. Truly 20 countenance also. In this Genju look at the beam. It looks and did not compete. Ha ha ha. You will find a good you. Kodono manager also laughed as mocking Kato. However, in or not disappear the laughter of Futari. As suddenly, out of nowhere, not a strange hoarse voice has been sounded. Hey, hey, it's still too early to worry. 20 in the character argument of countenance. I guess I forgot to there is no word impossible. Dismal it's truly not say anything. Though, such as coming sounded even from the grave, was the voice of feeling wow. Hey Kodono-kun, paddle did not say something you now. As Mr. Scaring Itori, while loincloth, look at the bird, it did ask the manager of gray hairs. No, I am there, no, s. However, there is somehow as a funny voice was heard. Kidono old man, in a dubious voice. I looked around the left and right in the same way. Hey, Z should not be Z strange. Off guard. You. Paddle not, you have someone outside you can see. Houses look down the hallway. Itori said, and already a pale, is the plight, not fit even the roots of the teeth. Kidono the manager appeared, and there is some courage than his master, nor terribly afraid appearance. Went to stand, opens the door with a key. Was I looked out of the hallway. I do not heal anyone. It is funny, old man to say so. When you shimeo the door. Again, out of nowhere, that hoarse voice has been heard. I have been restlessly what I'm here. I hear, muffled in shadow, even from like in the water. I feel like doing things. Something like Sogadatsu and Zo. Is a vocal that leading ghost. Yea, different somewhere you are. Earth's Husu, or is not a good come out here. Kidono old man, put out a karagenki. I yelled to where the unexpected may be the other party. I think ho-ho, where you are, a tematamai, but, then do that. I wonder if the golden tower all right. 20 countenances Z should not or tag I the promise. I'm what you say. Is not the golden tower our properly decorated alcove? Thief something tore not the causes one finger. Kidono old man while Mawari walking blindly through the room, was Watari I the enemy no appearance. Oof. Hey, Mr. Clerk. You 20 countenances. Paddler think people pleaser so. Alcove of a fake. About that the real thing are buried in the soil. I kai say, even if does not know. Listening to it, the Itori Mr. and manager were together looking at the face as creeps. Oh, Kato, as I knew the secret. Precious pains of Kidono old man, I did not stand with the role. Hey, that voice is Z seems apparently the ceiling. As Mr. suddenly noticed Itori, I grabbed the arm of the manager, whispered and whispering. Indeed, come to think of it, the voice seems to come echoing from the ceiling of the direction. If not, even the ceiling. In addition to Nanti Man alone concealed location. You know where. Ha, you may do so. This on the ceiling, it may be that hidden the guy 20 countenance. The manager, staring in and looked up at the ceiling, returned whispered. Early, please call a person of the shop, and do not care. Peeled off the ceiling plate. Please told her to catch the thief. Is fast. To be continued. Thank you for your viewing. If you like, please subscribe to the channel. I am very encouraged.